So this is a morning session on a cold November morning in England, and we're in a church hall. And we want to feel energized. We want to feel stretched. We want to feel grounded. So we're going to work towards that. We're starting on the floor. So I'm keeping my sweater on because I'm a little bit chilly. And it's always good to have a blanket nearby. And let's have the knees bent, hands clasped behind, and let's just go from side to side. So let's start to twist the spine a little from side to side. That's it, that's good. And look the opposite way if you can. As your knees go to the left, look to the right. And as your knees go to the right, look to the left. And then breathe out as the knees go down and breathe in as they come up. Breathe out as the knees go down, looking the opposite way, and breathe in as they come up. So we're really beginning to stretch the colon area and the small intestines. Okay. So remember, this can be done lying in bed in the morning, and it's a really good yoga twist, good for the spine, as well as internal organs. And then I'd like you to bring the knees to the chest and pull in and rock a little from side to side. Just rocking, 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 rocking. And the more you pull in, the more kind of massage you get on into that internal organ area of the belly. And you'll feel the massage also rather lovely on the back as you rock from side to side. Relax the shoulders if you can, and bring the chin into the chest a little, so the back of the neck is long. And that also is a soothing pose. So when you feel agitated or troubled, just rock from side to side, like this, nice and soothing, no rush. And then place the hands on the knees and do those big circles. Big circles, round with the knees. Okay. And then do circles the opposite way. And then hands wherever you like. I tend to put them behind the head clasped and just do the pistons where the heels are just off the floor. And you're stretching out the legs away from you, like so. And you'll feel how that's beginning to exercise both the abdominal muscles and the back muscles. And your thigh muscles. And it starts to feel quite hard work. Okay, good. And then we do bicycling, exaggerated, extreme bicycling, where the knees are trying to go towards the face and the heels are trying to go towards the floor. And then we do reverse bicycling, again, engaging back and abdominal muscles, as well as the leg muscles without weight bearing, lubricating the knee joint, that tricky joint. Lovely. And then I'd like you to put the legs straight up and rotate your ankle joints. So we're beginning to warm up the body, getting most of the areas of the body lubricated, ready for poses which require a certain amount of warm up before we do them. So rotating your ankles both ways as vigorously as you can. Really like that ankle joint to be strongly activated and lubricated. Great. And then bend the knees again and just pull in tight again. So remember, this is a gas ejector pose, so be warned. Pulling in really tight. And if you want to, just rocking from side to side. Just because it always feels so nice. Okay, and then we're going to roll over onto one side and come up. I'm still rather nervous about taking my zipped up hoodie off because it is so cold. I'll keep my blanket nearby. And we're coming up actually to standing. So keep going up if you can. I'm not even taking my socks off yet until it warms up. And we'll do the opposite knee to opposite elbow. Okay, keep the back upright as you do this. So it engages the abdominal core. And do it as vigorously or as gently as you like. Remember, the most important thing is to listen to you. And if you like, you can do it balletically. Not even sure that's a word. Up, up, until you've truly, truly had enough of doing it. Okay, and then rotate the hip joints down one way, down the other. Beautiful hip joints. And then swing them from side to side, just to see how they're feeling in there. And then I'd like you to do a balance pose where you swing the hip joint backwards and forwards. And then the other side. Okay, and then could you do some outward knee lifts? Just getting the hip to work the other way. So if you look, I'm kind of side on there. Lovely. And then I'd like you to do the back lift. So you can feel that engages around the glutes. And then on the next one, pull back. If you can, hold on to something if you need to. Okay, so you can hold on to a wall, sofa, whatever you got nearby. Try not to lift so that you tilt. The pelvis nice and level. Okay, and release. How was that? Was that all right? Okay, good. Roll the shoulders back and then backstroke. So the heating is on today. Heating wasn't on last week. It's horrible. It was really cold. And if you go near a radiator, it's hot. There's a lot of space to heat up. And then forward crawl. So what I'm aiming for today is a nicely lubricated body, which has been rejuvenated as many places as possible, and you're nice and grounded, and you go away feeling like that. Does that sound good? So let's stand in the mountain pose, my favorite pose. Roll the shoulders back. Okay. And then feel the ankle joint. My ankles are pronating again. I can feel it. My ankles collapse inward onto the instep. Don't know whether you can see that. So I have to actually adjust them outwards, but you might be the opposite. Okay. And then trying to get an even weight through all 4 points of the foot. And feel as though your feet are going many miles into the earth. Many, many miles down into the earth. And breathing into that. Close the eyes, lift the crown of the head upwards to the heavens. So normally I imagine Everest, because it's a beautiful mountain. But this morning I'm imagining Annapurna, because one of my friends has just reached the base camp at Annapurna, Steve. So that's where he is at this moment. A magnificent mountain, going up miles and miles into the sky, yet grounded deep and deep into the earth. So from this very deep and steady pose, we're going to move into an interesting balance pose, which is, if you watch me, I'm going to have to not mirror my students in the class. My right foot comes up, So my right foot is at the same level as my knee, but it's there. So that's how your foot is. And my left knee bends, but I have to adjust my feet so that my left knee bends over my second toe and my other knee bends that way. So that's what it looks like. So just try it out and come out of it. So playfully trying out this pose. So like so, my foot, one foot going that way, one foot going that way, pointing that way. Okay, so once we get into that pose, let's take the knee that's up, let's take that hand up. And depending on which yoga school you're following, the hand is up high or it's at the forehead or around the crown chakra. The other hand points to the foot. Okay, lovely. So it's dancing Lord Shiva pose. So watch, if your top knee is up, that's the hand that's up. So put your hand on your knee. Yeah, that's how we go. Lovely. Breathe out and step. And when you step, if you like to have your feet at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, the midpoint is 12 o'clock, like so. And watch the knees bend out over the feet into a gentle goddess pose, very gentle. So not full, the full is really deep, just gentle. And then swing to the other side. So you're resting now on the other leg. It's my right leg that's down. So my toes have to be out, 2 o'clock, that one pointing at 10 o'clock. Okay, so like so. And then left knee's up. So the left hand comes up and the right hand points at that foot. So like so. Okay, so keeping the pose is hard, but it's a good balance pose. If you're unsure, you can take this hand out to balance you a bit. That's lovely, really nice. And the base knee actually bends a little out to the side. So it's not straight, see that would be straight, and that's the bend that takes place. It's quite bouncy. Then just release out of that for a moment. I'm going to dare unzip. Oh, chilly dudes. And I'm going to dare, don't necessarily copy me on this, take my socks off. I might regret it because the floor feels like ice, really. So let's do that again. So you can start at one side of your mat if you want. If you want to do it side on, or if you're happy doing it where you are, just adjust as you go along. So we lift our right foot. And when I'm doing it on my mat, I lift this foot because I'm going that way. So this is the foot that goes up first. Okay, into the pose. Lovely. Open out, watch me open out. Really wide, step. Over. Hands up, breathe out and down. Watch the knees go over, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Sit back on an imaginary stool, so not leaning forward. Okay, and technically the upper arms are parallel to the floor. Okay, and try not to lean back too much either. Okay, just nice and steady. And then watch me. I'm going to put my weight over to the left side of the body. It's like a Qigong movement. And then I swing into the opposite pose on the other side. Nice. And then when you feel you're going to topple, step again. Out you go, down into the goddess pose. Lovely. So what I want you to do now is continue doing that in your own time, feeling fairly comfortable. Just remember, if you get confused, the top knee is the knee with this hand going up. So you step out and you bend, you swing, step, swing. So it starts to feel, let me show you, really quite easy. Over, swing. So, and then you add that lovely goddess pose, down into the goddess, up on the other side, down into the goddess, up on the other side. Let me just see how that's doing. Lovely. Nice steps. So it's a good one to practice at home, especially the step out goddess and then swing up. And as long as you think the knee that's going up is the arm that's going up, you're probably doing okay. And even if you get it wrong and you get the arm wrong, it's still okay because it's just a different pose. All right. And then when you finish doing that, we come back to the mountain to be nice and steady. Roll the shoulders back. A nice, steady, straight mountain. Chin slightly down. Hands hanging heavy. And again, watch the ankle if it's pronating, if it's wobbling around, if it's collapsing in or out, adjusting the weight all through the feet. And then I'd just like you to practice leaning forward. Weight onto the front of the foot, the toes of the feet, and then lean backwards, the weight on the heel of the feet, and then the weight over to your right, and then the weight over to your left, and then do circles. So toes, right, heels, left. So you can feel your mountain being strangely unsteady. And we're just practicing taking the awareness into the foot and being aware of the weight distribution through the foot. Then the next time you come to the toes, steadying out so that weight is evenly distributed through the feet. And pausing there, there's nothing to do. Letting the pose work on you. And you might feel the weight distribution shifting slightly as your body is trying to find equilibrium. Lovely. Okay, shake out the arms and the legs. And I'd like you to lift your right foot up and hold your left hand out. So another balance pose. The balance poses are good for concentration and really good for bringing you into the present. If you know you're going to topple, hold on to something. And you might be toppling because there's a wonky bit of floor. It's always best to blame the floor. And then coming out at an angle. So seeing how you can do. Lifting and out. And if you can't hold on to the toe, hold on to the thigh. It's a lifted pose, or even let the foot bend for a moment, still do the lift, coming down. And remember, it's not competitive, so don't worry about what anybody else is doing. And then lift the other side and do the same. Explore, see if you can lift. And don't worry too much if you can't. This might not be your favorite or best pose. It's good to do it with a bit of a sense of humor. Breathing out, coming down, shake again. Take those legs out because they're working hard. Okay, and then just shift from side to side for a moment, one foot to the other. And then back to the mountain. Nice and steady. So from the mountain, I'd just like to do Utkatasana, the strong pose, where if you look down at your feet, they're underneath your hip joint here, and you bend the knees, and then you take the arms up at the same angle, ankle to knee. So that's going sort of that way. I want my arms to also be going about that way. Okay, try not to stick the tailbone out, but you are going down quite strongly. And then Reach, 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 and look through the hands if you can. Drop the shoulders, bring the shoulder blades together and down if you can. And you'll feel it here on your thighs, okay? Just check that you're not leaning forward too much, okay? Lovely. Nice, strong Utkatasana. Until it hurts too much. And breathe in, straighten up. Breathe out and down. And we're going to do that one more time. So just breathe in for a moment, lift the arms. Breathe out, push. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, push. So breathing in through the nose. And breathe out through the mouth. And then we'll do the strong pose again. So checking the feet underneath that the hip bone here. Okay, checking your knee joint is going over your second toe. Bending, bending, bending. Locking up. Breathing into it. Again, even weight distribution. Watch the ankle so it doesn't pronate. And it's quite a deep knee bend. Yes, you can do. It helps to keep the pose nice and strong. Okay, and you're looking between the hands. Okay, and then push to come up and breathe out and down. And then chuck the feet out crosswise. Okay, shake, 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 shake. Good, and then cross the arms. And let's just go into star pose for a moment. So take the feet, this is 12 o'clock, straight in front of you. Take the feet out at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock, like so. And then the arms out, about the same. And drop the shoulders, lovely. And the back of the neck nice and strong with the chin down. So it's nice and long and elongated at the back. Lovely. Breathing into that. And my mistake usually with this one is my shoulders go up, so I need to bring them down a bit. Breathing, breathing, breathing. And also I bring my hands a little bit too forward, so the hands should be really about on line with the feet. My other mistake is I drop the hands, so I need to remember to lift them, but keep the shoulders down. Tuck the tailbone in, crown of the head lifting, chin slightly down, until it feels too much, which is about now. I'm breathing out through the mouth, coming down. Breathe in through the nose, coming up. Lovely. Breathe out and down. Breathe in, come up. And breathe out and down. Okay, and then we're going to go back to that pose we did earlier. Do you remember we did this pose where we lifted the leg up? Okay, so this time we're really going to steady in on that nice steady mountain. Lift the back foot, point the opposite hand forward. So it's my right hand forward as my left foot goes up. And continue to extend that, remembering to keep the pelvis, if you can, as level as possible, not twisting it off the floor. So seeing how steady you can stay with that. And if you feel so inclined, any gymnasts among you, you place the foot on the head, at which point we just smile. But really trying to take the knee back if you can, so the knee comes back away from the body. See the knee? See my knee coming back away from the body. Okay. And using the front hand to keep you balanced. Great. And release. Have you done both sides or was it just me? No. Okay, now doing the opposite side. So this time I'm going to put the weight through my left foot and bring the right foot back, trying to keep the pelvis level. And the left hand forward. Okay. And bring that foot up and back as much as possible, but still trying to keep the pelvis level to the ground. Lovely. Breathing into that. And then eventually you've had enough, so releasing out and coming back into the mountain for a moment. And you'll feel one side is slightly different to the other, so let's just steady out in the lovely, balanced mountain pose. Feeling an openness around the heart area here. So really open across the heart, shoulders back, face relaxed. Okay, good. And then if you can go to something like a wall or a chair, I would hang on to that now because you'll need support. So find something. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to use a chair, what I would suggest is position the chair and then, oh, it is cold on this floor, and then raising the foot onto the chair. Or if you're on a wall, raising the foot, pushing it back against the wall somehow. So see if you can catch, I've got a slight edge there on my wall. Oh, very impressive. Okay. If I turn, Annie, my laptop, so you're off view. There we go. You can come onto the radiator. Yeah, we can't see you. Oh, right, that's so far, so good. Yes? Everybody all right? A little bit of a stretch here, adductor muscles, okay? So you're probably going to guess what's going to happen next. We're going to do the ballerina bit where we breathe in and we lengthen, and we breathe out and we come forward. Okay, so just forward over that leg. You'll feel all sorts of things stretching through the gluteus, through the adductors. You might want to rub that leg. You know, maybe if you're somewhere as cold as we are, it's going to feel a little bit stiff and not particularly happy. Okay. I don't find this easy. So a ballerina obviously would not only be able to get to there, they'd probably lift their leg up here and they'd put their forehead to their shin, and yes, they would be wonderful. We're just trying to do the best we can here. So trying to be straight on towards that foot, breathing out, lowering over that foot, and just allowing that stretch to be strong, but not hurting. Okay. Good. And then you've probably had well enough coming out of that, pausing, lifting. So it's good. If we don't actually use those muscles and tendons, they are going to foreshorten. And one day we're going to go, I can't even get to there. That's exactly what we don't want. I'm very much an advocate of doing a little of something each day. And I was telling my husband this morning, I bought him some dumbbells and I've positioned them so that when he goes out the bedroom door, they're just there. Technically, I've suggested that every time he goes past them, he lifts them 5 times and then he puts them down. And if he did that now till when he's 110, he's going to either have very long arms because they're very heavy, or he's going to have a great deal of strength. But he's only doing it a little bit each day. That's what we're aiming for, a little bit each day. So guess what? We're going to do the other side. Angela's already deep into the pose. And the other leg comes up. She wasn't waiting for me finishing my waffling. They're straight in there. Okay, so nice and long. And again, I would strongly suggest rubbing along that leg, encouraging the leg to soften and stretch and open. Probably very tight behind the knee joint, tight along the adductors. To actually get more length, imagine you're trying to reach something above you and then lift this rib cage up and over in that sort of action, so that you're not compressing the internal abdominal organs, and then breathing into it. Lower, drop the shoulders, open the shoulder blades wide, breathing into it. Lovely. And you can still keep rubbing behind that leg. You know, we've probably got it lifted to what feels just about our maximum. And then gently at the end of it, lowering it down. And again, just moving it a bit. You can walk up and down your mat. Let's see, how many chairs have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 chairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got 5 people. Yes, we could work on chairs, but actually radiators is good, but chairs is good. So let me do this. Are there any more chairs? I know I'm going to have to, yes, I'll put the laptop there and I use the table. So everybody take a chair, and Karen, I'll give you mine. Just going to move my laptop, guys, up higher. So you take that chair. Cool. That's fine. Lovely. And then, so if you've got a chair at home, when you put your feet on this floor, it's like putting your feet on ice. So this is my chair. So what I'd like you to do, it's not going to quite be the same on mine, but I'd like you to sit on the chair. It's fair enough. Oh, no, my feet are so cold. I am going, and my chair's cold. You can even make yourselves comfy. Be comfy. They've got cushions on their chairs, lucky bunnies. So, sitting on the chair. Now, everybody thinks, oh, chair yoga, that's for old people. Well, it's not actually. Chair yoga can be extremely strenuous. So I wouldn't knock it. So if you're like me, which you probably aren't, I've got really short legs and it's a very high table, you can swing the legs. Okay, swing them backwards and forwards. And if you're very solidly on the floor, just lift the leg up a bit and give it a swing. Okay, good. Then I'd like you to open out on your chair as much as possible, like so, holding on and lifting the legs. You might feel it here, right? So we're trying to get the legs up as much as possible. Okay, good. All right, and then breathe in, like that. And breathe out, forward, but don't topple off your chair, till eventually you can hold on, and then lengthen from here, from the hips, up to the rib cage. Keep the feet up, this is a challenge. Stretching forward, nice long throat. Okay, look up to the heavens. Okay, now see, nobody fall off their chair. If you can hold on to the back of your chair here. These uprights that I don't have. See if you can hold on to those. Okay, and lift the feet up a bit more. Lovely. Then take the arms down the legs. Look up. Okay, and breathe out, release down. Then from there, I'd like you to go to sideways on your chair. You're just going to have to imagine, guys, that I've got a chair. I feel like I'm about 3. Is it a bit wobbly? Any minute now, this whole table's going to collapse, isn't it? Okay, I could go downstairs and get another chair. I'd like you to take your right hand round the back and hold this side of your chair, left hand like so. Okay, so looking behind you. So let me demonstrate. Imagine this is my back of my chair to here, yeah, and then look behind you. So we're doing a lovely chair twist. Okay, if that's easy, instead of holding the back of the chair, you can even go further and see if you can get your right hand right round to the side of the chair and your left hand to the far end of the back of the chair. Try and keep the back upright. That's the trick. Don't know whether you noticed, but I was leaning. So try to keep the spine perpendicular as you look behind. Let me just check everyone. Okay, good. Lovely. That should feel a strong twist. Yes? Yeah. Okay, good. Breathing into that. Lovely. Breathing out, coming forward, and then doing it on the other side. So, say this is the back of my chair. So first of all, just sitting comfortably, back of the chair. First of all, just hands on the back of the chair. Yeah. My imaginary chair. And then take the hands further to that end of the chair. So right round, and then the other hand right round the back. Okay, and twist and look behind you. Lengthen the spine if possible. Crown of the head going upwards. That's lovely. And looking over that back shoulder. Turning the head, looking over the back shoulder. See if you can find your back hand. Look at your back hand. Round, round, round. Lovely. Lovely twist. So it's like wringing out those internal organs. Fantastic. Okay, lovely. And then breathing out, coming round to the front. Pausing for a moment, sitting comfortably on your chair. And then I'd like you to come to the edge of your chair. Any edge of this that's better than, oh, kind of, maybe that bit there. Okay, great. So edge of your chair. So I've just got my sitting bone on the edge of my chair and I'm lowering down. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to lower down and compress. I want you to extend up, breathe out, lower down, lower down, lower down towards the toes. Okay, drop the head. So we're doing a slightly supported, wide angled forward bend. And the reason we're doing it supported is I don't want to strain on you while we explore this pose. So I'd like you to move your right shoulder further down to the floor and your left shoulder further down to the floor. Okay. Drop your chin deeply into the chest and drop the crown of the head if you can down towards the floor. Breathing into it. Now, if you need to bend a knee, do so. Be generous. Be generous to your legs. Allow a knee bend. And just breathing into it. If your feet are cold, you can give them a rub while you're down there. If you can't reach your feet, you can give your legs a rub. But you're doing a nice supported, strong stretch forward bend. Breathing into it. And then I'd like you to hang on to your elbows. Like so. And go down a little bit deeper if you can. Lovely. And then I'd like you to place your left hand on the floor in between your feet. You can do it on your fingertips. You can do it flat. And breathe in, stretch the right hand up to the heavens. So you can choose actually at home, do you want the chair or do you not want the chair? The interesting thing about having the chair is it doesn't make it easier or softer. It makes it a very strong pose indeed. So it's definitely not the easy option. And then breathing out, coming down, that hand, and turning and lifting the left hand up to the heavens and looking up. And again, trying to bring the head down towards the floor. So you can bend the base hand, the right, so you look up to the left. Breathing into that. Okay. And then bring both hands down to the floor, tuck the chin in again, and walk your hands under your chair. Under your chair. Breathing into that, hopefully opening out the rib cage at the back, the shoulder blades. If you get a stomach cramp, you'll need to lengthen your torso forward, before you go down. If you're finding it a struggle, use your hands to push and put yourself into a high lift table. Okay. To come out of this pose, I would recommend heel toe, your hands inward while putting weight through your hands, your feet inward, sorry, while putting weight through your hands. Come up onto the edge of the chair. So you're sitting on the edge of the chair. All right, when you get to the edge of the chair, if you've got a proper chair, you're probably sitting like this. All right, and if you're sitting like this, could you place one foot on your knee? Lovely. Is that comfortable? If it's not comfortable through the knee, say. Okay, is that all right? Yeah? You feel it in your hip, okay? Hip's probably stiffening up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the easy rocking backwards and forwards. So this helps to loosen that hip joint, okay? So, I mean, some people call it cradling the baby because they really lift the foot up, but you don't have to do that too much. You're just cradling as you move. So you feel that hip joint work. If there's pain through the knee joint, allow the foot to go out more in front of you. That's fine. Okay. It's all right. So it's hard. It's funny. I really did think when I started yoga that chair work was for like gentle, really gentle stuff until I, really twigged what was going on. And it makes you able to do stronger poses. Okay, let's do the other side. Lifting up. So if you want to, you're just going onto the knee and then lifting outside. But if you want to go higher, you can do that. But just watch that knee joint. If it starts to hurt here, I'd rather you didn't go up so close in and so high. You go out a bit to protect that knee joint. You all right, Angela? Yeah, if it's very tight, I would just tight in the hip or the knee. In the hip. I do want it to move still, so I reckon do a little, yeah, just there. Oh, that was not a nice expression. Ooh. Yeah, camera's not on you. You're all right. Then don't necessarily do what I say, but some teachers then say, put this foot behind your head. And personally, I wouldn't recommend this. I think I can touch my head, but I don't think it's necessarily good. So there's a pose where you tuck both feet behind the head and lie back on the floor. And there's a picture of a 95-year-old yoga teacher in England doing that. And I think, well, good for her. I don't have those kind of hip joints. Yes, yeah, we'll leave that till next week. So what else can we do on the chair today? Oh, I wanted to do this. So you stand up from the chair and you lean back onto the chair. Okay, comfortably. Now let's show you side on the camera. That's it, it's lovely. And then drop the head. So it's a lovely back arch, leaning back onto the chair. So it makes it stronger. Now, if possible, you can walk your feet forward so that your knees remain straight. And now, obviously, if it was a very, very low chair, you'd be in trouble. This is where me having the higher table at last comes in useful for me. It's easy. The higher the chair, the easier it is. But you've got this tremendous back arch going on. Can you feel it? Breathing into it. So again, we wouldn't be able to do such a strong pose without the chair or the sofa or whatever it is we're leaning on. Aren't you looking perturbed? Is it really hurting? Very strong. Okay. And then you come out. Oh. And then see how we do this. Do it this way. So what you want to do is, let's move my mat. So it's going to be hard for me because it's so high. You put your feet under your chair, sideways on, if you can. Yeah, turn the chair sideways on, like Karen's doing. And then you lean back. Oh, okay. No, I think you're going to be able to do it better than me because your chair's lower. But you lean back. And you can hold on to the chair legs. And you go into a very deep back pose. So hold on to the chair legs to give you support. Okay. And take it gently. Don't just go woof. Just gently, gently. Easing yourself into this very strong back bend. It'll be getting you just about here. All right. If you find that too strong, do what Karen's doing, elbows on your chair and just reach into that. But isn't that lovely? It's a really lovely, and then you get the open throat around the thyroid and parathyroid as the head goes back. And you can experiment with bringing the elbows a bit more to the edge of your chair and you go down even further. But don't be overconfident on this or over ambitious. I'd take it gently. And the abdominal area is getting that lovely long stretch as well. Super. Breathing into it. And to be honest, I can't see unless you did the wheel, which at Chakrasana, which is a very hard pose. I don't see how you could normally in a yoga class get such a wonderful back bend without the chair support. So obviously when you come up from that, use your elbows, come up, and you're going to know instantly that you need to do a forward bend as a counter pose. So move the chair out of the way. Thank you, chair. And go nicely into a forward bend. So you can do it from kneeling, just take the knees further out, lift up, under open, lovely, down, and relax into a comfortable forehead to floor, or if that feels just a little too much of a counter pose after such a strong back bend, you could do fist on fist and just ease that lower back into a counter position. Then maybe gradually reducing the fists, stretching the arms, walking the fingertips away from you, trying to sit down on the heels, lowering down. So the nice thing about doing very strong back bends is that you're allowed to rest in lovely forward bends where they can soothe you and calm you, bring tranquility, a feeling of safety, quietening down, relaxing, just letting go. And see if the tailbone move down towards the heels. And you might, after a little while, try to walk the fingertips a little further away, as though you were opening out the discs of the spine even more, vertebra disc, all the way along, even more open and along the spinal column. Breathing gently into it. Nothing to do for a moment. See if you can open the shoulder blades a bit wider, shoulders closer to the ground. Okay, and then we haven't done this before, but moving from frog pose to side frog swing. So if you just lift the head up a little, watch it like a frog. Doesn't want to move his legs, but he's moving his hands round to the side. Okay. So we go as far as we can. I'm actually traffic jamming my rib cage up against my thighs. That's as far as I can go. But then you can push up higher and move round a little bit more. So my legs stay exactly the same spot, but I'm turning my spine. Okay, and then we do the frog gently coming back to the front. Pause, fist on fist. Breathe. Hopefully fairly happy frog. And then of course we set off again, but now the other side. Walkies round until your rib cage traffic jams against your thigh. Lift up a bit and go around a little bit more. Easily. When you're at your maximum, you can lower the head. Feel interesting stretches. Okay, and then walking back to the front, pushing up a moment, and finding a cushion, or even better, a blanket, or if you don't have any of those, rolling up your mat to make a padded layer. Okay, so that you've got some padding for your head, soft padding, because otherwise it's going to be really hard. So roll the mat back a little, like so. Yeah, make some padding. Lovely. You know what's coming next, I think. Place the crown of the head onto the cushioning, and the thighs are parallel, the feet are parallel, the hands go up and clasp and lift. Okay, so it's a semi-inverted pose, just breathing into that. We're not staying too long, and certainly if your head feels uncomfortable, if it's not padded enough, don't stay in it, come out of it. Breathing out, releasing the hands, pushing with the hands on the floor, come up. And then that was the familiar class. So the unfamiliar class that we show is you take the hands and you notch down the level of the fingers. You just change that. So that's the normal class. You just notch down. So unfamiliar class behind, which feels strange, and then back into the pose. So breathing in, lengthening, breathing out onto the crown of the head. Up go. And if you can't keep the clasp, don't worry, because I can't keep the clasp. I'm actually holding on your middle finger with an index finger. But lifting, lifting, lifting. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Okay, breathing out, coming down with the hands. Again, rest, fist on fist. Pausing. Okay. Breathing. And then pushing with the hands to come up. If you have padding for your knees, probably a good idea to use it or roll your pressure. And I'd like you to take the hands back behind you so the palms are facing forward. Like so. Lovely. Look up. Lean back and walk the hands a little bit further away until you can have the hands flat on the floor. Now, because I'm not actually fully on my mat, my hands are slipping. There's obviously a lesson in that somewhere. Walking back. That's it, that's good. Looking up. Okay. So why are we doing these back arches? Because they're energizing, and any acts are energizing. They're doing these wonderful back bends to create more energy in the system. Much better than drinking 5 cups of coffee. Opening the throat area as much as possible, dropping the head back, comfortably supported. And if your knees hurt in this pose, if they're hurting at the front knee joint, you can simply do this with the legs stretched straight in front of you. You're sitting with the legs coming out in front, straight. There's no pressure on that knee joint. And then locate your belly button area and just push that belly button forward and up, accentuating that back arch on the inside.
Hopefully that feels okay. To come out of it, you kind of pull the belly button right in and push with the hands, bringing the hands forward. And you've got options now. You can go back to fist on fist, or you can stretch the hands out into that long swan pose. Just seeing how you feel. You just need a nice gentle pose. Okay. And it's really important when you're doing the counter poses to actually really let go if you can. Okay. Pretend you're going to be there for several hours comfortably. Just be in the pose, breathing into the pose. Okay, and then slowly coming out of that by pushing with your hands. So bring your hands back, past the head, and push and come up. Okay, and let's just go over, if you can, comfortably into the mermaid pose, where you swing over to one side, comfortable mermaid. Okay, and then I've gone over onto the right buttock, right gluteus muscle. So I'm going to twist round to the right and look round over my right shoulder. So the mermaid twist one side. And again, why are we doing twists? Well, we want to energize and we want to make sure that the system is really clear. So we're giving a lot of spinal twists in this session, as well as those back bends. And then breathing out, come round to the front, go back up, and go into the mermaid on the other side, sitting on the other gluteus of that buttock, and take the hands and walk them round behind you, trying to keep the spine kind of upright if you can, and look over your left shoulder if you can. That's it. Breathing into it, dropping the shoulders, keeping the neck vertebra perpendicular as you turn the head. And then breathing into the pose. Each in-breath, lengthen the crown upwards. Each out-breath, turning round to the left. Lovely. And then breathing out, walking the the hands to the front. And just for a moment, you can sit on your cushion, sitting cross-legged, pausing for a moment. So now just check. Angela, are you okay being on video or would you rather not? If you face that way, they can't see you. So what I'd like you to do is find a partner and sit back to back. Okay, so Angela's going to come to me because she's been on the video before and she's very amenable. So if you would like Annie to go with Karen and Yelena, you could go with Irina. And so what I'd like you to do is take something, your jacket or your cushion, but make a nice cushion for you both. We can probably share this. Yeah. Look, we can share it. It's all right. We're all right. We're fine. And also, if you're going to be cold, I would suggest making sure you've got your hoodie or whatever, so you're all right. And then if you sit facing that way. Oh, okay, ready? So this is my beautiful assistant, Angela. All right, back to back. So one of the reasons we do partner work, if you're at home, go against if you've got a radiator, that's nice, or you can go against a wall. But one of the advantages of pair work like this is the warmth from the other person. And also, what tends to happen is the one who is most solid and steady influences the other. So if one is feeling all wobbly, instead of making you both wobbly, it's the positive actually are shared rather than the negative. So tuck your tailbone in towards each other. I bet you've never been asked to do that before. Or maybe you have. Let's not go there. You okay, Angela? Okay. And then it's sitting like a strong Buddha. So you can't actually see me, but if you put your hand onto your thigh facing inwards, that's it. So we're sitting like a strong Buddha with our elbows bent. Maybe Karen could demonstrate what I'm doing so Angela can see, like so. Yeah, good. And if you feel very uncomfortable sitting cross-legged, of course you can have the legs out straight. And then just push back against each other until you feel you've got absolute perpendicular. And then you can relax and nobody's pushing. You've just got that lovely weight. And then we do the twist. So if you're doing it at home against a wall, you're just going to have to go around a bit. But you could move away from the wall and go further and make it just a normal seated twist. So take your left hand to your own right knee, like so, and take your right hand round, if you have a partner, to their left knee. Breathe in, lengthen up from the crown. Breathe out, turn. So I'm actually pushing a little with my right shoulder to turn my partner round a bit more, whilst hopefully my partner keeps my left knee on the ground because it's wanting to lift up and away. Okay, I'm breathing into that. Nice, steady breathing. You okay? Drop the shoulders if you can. I realised suddenly my shoulders were tensing up. And it's actually, if you are doing it as partner, it's quite comforting to have that other hand that's not your own actually just comforting and reassuring that left knee. And then see if you can go a little bit more. Take it another inch or two round. Okay, and because it's such a nice pose, it's not one I tend to want to rush through. I like to hang around in it. We've got just enough time to hang around here, a little bit longer before we do the other side. But again, after a while, you might find exactly that you can go a little bit further on. Again, relax the shoulders. Your left hand might be pushing you and actually lifting your left shoulder up. So just drop that left shoulder, breathing into it. And at home, if you haven't got a partner, you're just putting that right hand behind the spine on the floor like a staff, keeping the spine upright as you do normal seated twist. You just haven't got the delicious sensation of the warmth of someone else's back hitting up your spine. Nice, take a hot water bottle. Okay, and then breathing out, release round to the front. If you are sitting cross-legged, just swap whatever foot was on the outside now goes on the inside before we do the other side, just to make sure it's fairly even. Okay, you all right? So lengthen up in the spine. This time take your left hand round to their right knee and your right hand to your left knee. Breathe in, lengthen up. Turn. Okay, and try to look at the back of their head if you can. Try to look at the back of their head. That's it. breathing into it. And if you're feeling really, really relaxed, you could do something I don't normally say you can do. You can actually lean back onto your partner and fall asleep. It's because Annie was demonstrating it. So, the reason I don't normally say that is because it creates a kink in the neck vertebra. So, yeah, best to have the crown of the head going up, lifting up. I think I'm leaning slightly. I'm trying to not leaning to my left. Okay, breathe in and turn a little bit more. Stretching a little bit more. And a little bit more, if you can. There's always a little micro movement, a millimetre, or 2 or 5. Turning a little bit more without overstraining. And I think it's even nicer to go a little bit further when you're supported. We've got that back-to-back warmth. This is warming up the spine and allowing it to twist that little bit further. And the only downside of doing this is that you think, oh no, at some point we've got to move away and I'll have the cold press again. Stay here a little bit longer, breathing into it. And when you've had enough, when you feel you've had enough, coming round to the front, and leaning against each other. Spine's nice and warm. It's been beautifully twisted. Lots of stretching along the back. And it does feel like it would just heaven to just stay here for a while, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And then I would breathe in, take the arms up, so above the head, and see if you can reach your partner's hands. Oh, your hand's nice and warm. Oh, that's good. And lift. So Angela's got longer arms than I do, so I'm holding onto her wrists and helping her arms lift further while stretching mine further. It's what? Oh, nice. And then rocking from side to side, but very slightly, okay? Just a little rocking movement, almost playful. Only like 2 inches to one side, 2 inches to the other. Gentle rocking. It's almost like we're reassuring the spine. It's feeling it's nice and flexible, it's nice and warm. Happy spine, happy back. Okay, and then slowly breathing out, coming down. You're all right. Your shoulder joint. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Lovely. Thank you very much. Lovely. And then the sad bit is we peel away, thanking our partner. Thank you so much. And then if you want, I would recommend going near a radiator and putting your legs up the radiator. If the radiator is too hot, which would be rather delightful, do put your blanket on the radiator. So we're ending with, I don't have a radiator visible. I'll go over to that one in a minute. We're ending with our legs up. So at home, you could do legs up and on the sofa, bent knee, legs up a wall. But generally, yeah, so that you're easing and taking strain off the legs, going into one of the deep rejuvenation poses, the Viparati Karani. Just making sure you're comfy. I'm going over to a radiator over there. You all right? So the most important thing is to be comfortable. Oh, that's lovely and hot. Oh, we like it. So gone off screen on camera. But if you particularly want to see me lying in Viparati Karani, you can do if you want. And I don't know whether I've told you this story before, but I have a lovely American friend called Shirley, who the first time she came to visit me in England, she leant against the wall in the kitchen we were in, which was actually a radiator, but she didn't know that. And she went, "This wall is hot." And we worked out that, of course, she's from California. They don't have radiators. They have anything. They have warmth coming up through vents in the floor. That's their kind of heating, but not radiators. And I would think of a radiator as a wall being hot there. But the delight of a radiator is you can warm your feet on them. And then if you can, relax the face. Make sure the chin is more towards the chest and the shoulders are away from the head. And if your feet are cold like mine, you can bend the knees and keep rubbing the feet up and down the radiator. That's allowed. And just resting in this deeply restorative pose. So at the end of a yoga class, as you know, you can rest in the corpse pose. You can rest in knees bent, but resting on a chair or a sofa in semi-inverted. You can rest with the legs straight up a wall. You can rest in Shavasana with the knees bent.